What is up, everyone? Welcome to It's Been a Week. I'm your host, Ben McDonald, and this is your weekly dose of whatever the hell just happened. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to It's Been a Week. I'm your host, Ben McDonald. My entire week has been consumed with buying a new car. It has taken over my whole week. And before I get into that whole story, I want to talk about a really funny story that happened just the other day. And it also involves a vehicle. So I came home the other day, AJ's sitting in our garage port, and he's sitting on the thing, and there's like 5 of our outdoor cats like surrounding the truck. So I come home and I'm like, what's going on? And he goes, I think there's a bird like up in the truck. He's hearing these noises, and obviously all these cats are surrounding the truck. So I'm like, okay. So I look underneath the truck. I'm trying to see. I don't see anything, and we keep hearing this noise, and I'm like, I don't know if that's a bird, but there's definitely something inside the truck somewhere. So we're looking around, and we drive. It's a dually truck, so it has 4 wheels in the back, and I look in the back of the tires, and on the inside of the tire, I'm like looking in there, and a little eye looks out at me. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's making these noises. So I keep looking, and I'm like, it's a squirrel. We have a squirrel that has crawled into like the rim of the tire. So I'm pretty sure the cat's probably like chased the squirrel, scared it into the tire, and now it doesn't want to come out. Also, I did see some like fur underneath the truck, so I'm sure the cats were like going at it, and then that's where he escaped to hide. So I was like, okay, let's do it. We did our night chores. Fun fact, AJ locks up 9 cats every single night, and he just like does this little call, and they all follow him. Like that whole saying of herding cats, it's actually not that hard when you're fucking AJ. He like walks up to the barn, and all 9 cats follow him into the barn, and he locks them in the barn every night because one morning we woke up and there was a coyote, and he couldn't handle that. The fear of the coyotes coming to eat one of his cats. So he locks up his cats. So we do the chores, we lock the cats up, and I go, let's just leave the squirrel alone. Like it will come out. Like it will just, by the time we wake up tomorrow, the squirrel, I'm sure, will be gone. So we do our chores, we go inside, wake up the next morning. I go out, and we're about to go do our feeding. And I was like, okay, well, let's just check for the squirrel. And I look in the tire, and there is the squirrel. So then I start thinking, I'm like, well, maybe the squirrel is stuck in there. Like maybe it was so scared, it wedged itself in there, and now it's stuck and it can't get out. So I was like, okay. Also, in like 45 minutes from this time, I'm like, but I'm leaving for a workout class. AJ has to go to the dentist. So both vehicles need to drive. And of course, AJ's like, we can't drive with the squirrel in there because like, I mean, I'm assuming it would for sure would have gotten very dizzy, but I'm assuming like going on a freeway, the tires, like the squirrel would have died. I'm assuming. So I was like, okay. So I go get a screwdriver, like a small, like I just kind of poked it a little bit and tried to wedge it to see if maybe it would like move, and it like couldn't move. And it started making those noises again. So I'm like, okay, this thing is definitely stuck because otherwise it would have left in the middle of the night. So I was like, all right, let's take the tires off of the truck, and maybe then we pull it off and then it can get out. So I go up and I get my like, oh God, what is the thing called? An impact wrench? Is that correct? I don't know. If I have straight male listeners, you can correct me. I think it's like an impact wrench, but it's like a zoom, 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 zoom thingy, and it like takes the lug nuts. Words are hard. I think they're called lug nuts. Anyways, the bolt things on the tire. So I get those off, and then I'm like, okay, so we need to raise the truck up. I don't have a jack. I have the tiny little Polly Pocket jack that comes with the truck, like in an emergency situation, that you have to like manually, like you put bars in it and you have to twist it. And I don't even know how the fuck you're supposed to do this shit, because you put the thing in, and when you go to start twisting it, like the bar hits the ground. So let me tell you, it is not a very efficient thing. So I was like, okay, let's put the jack on a few boards, and then that way it raises it up and I can spin this thing. So I start doing that. Well, the boards weren't stable enough, because then the truck started to rock, and the jack was like going to go flying, and I don't know, it wasn't good. So I lowered the jack, and then I was like, okay, maybe if we drive the front wheels of the tire up onto some boards, maybe it will lift the back tires up as well. Incorrect. We drove up. I mean, AJ and I almost got into domestic doing it because he's like, this isn't safe. And I'm like, it's fine. Just do it. So I was like, he drove up onto a 6x6 board thing. And that did not raise the back tires. I was like, okay, that's not going to work. So then I was like, there's been times when I have my horse trailer hooked up and like it won't come loose from the ball. I hope these visuals are all making sense. But I was like, if we go hook up the horse trailer, then I can use the trailer to lift the back end of the truck. And that, because we just need the wheels off the ground, like 2 inches, and then I can get these wheels off. So I back out of the driveway and I'm starting to drive up to the barn where the trailer is. And all of a sudden I see my tires go flying in front of me because I backed the truck out without putting the lug nuts back on the vehicle. So the tires of my dually have now fallen off of the truck. Yep, that is what happened. So then I'm like, AJ screaming and getting video of this. And I'm like, okay. So I go in. Good news is the squirrel is gone. I've looked, the squirrel has gone. I don't know where the squirrel went, but the squirrel is no longer in the tires. So that's great. But now I have to figure out how the fuck to get these tires back onto my truck. And mind you, I don't have a jack. I have this the jack that comes with the truck is like it's the size of a water bottle. I'm like, what is this gonna fucking do? So then I was like, I have an idea. Maybe I can use my tractor with the forks to lift the back end of my truck. Well, my tractor is great. All I really use it for is moving hay bales and dragging my arena. But it really is like a glorified lawnmower. So I go to pick up the back end of the truck and it's like, and it like couldn't lift it. It lifted it a little, but not that much. So I was like, okay, use the tractor, lift it as much as we can. Now we'll go use this piece of shit jack it up a little bit, got the truck jacked up, got both my tires on, tightened my lug nuts. It was good to go. So it was very, I wish we had cameras capturing the whole thing because it was quite the scene. I think AJ did get some footage, but that was the morning of trying to save a squirrel when I drove the tires off of my dually truck. Yep. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, my week was consumed with buying a car. Here's the issue with California versus Texas. In California, you spend a lot of time in your car, but you don't drive that far. So you'll be in the car for 2 hours, but you're only going 10 miles. Texas, everything is so spread out. You put, like, for me to go to Dallas, it's an hour, but you're putting on 80 miles one way. So I don't know what it is about buying a new car. It's like it's very stressful. It feels like it's such a permanent decision, and it's not. Like, I mean, people go through cars all the time. It's not like this is the car you have to drive for the rest of your life, but it's a big purchase, and it is, I don't know, it's consuming, right? I don't know how many of you have been in the car market lately, but it's like there's so many different cars out there. There's there's so many brands, there's so many different models, there's so many different packages, and it's like, you really got to kind of, I don't know. I feel like car shopping, you really got to kind of go into it knowing what exactly you want. And here's the other thing. When you start looking at cars, I feel like we always, or at least I do, I always, I'm like, okay, here's my budget, or this is the price I want to spend. But then you look at the sticker price online, and or like you go to their website and like, it's like, starting at this. And you're like, okay, great. That's in my budget. But it doesn't, even though it starts at that, that's not what's actually on the lot. The ones that are on the lot are like, they have this in them and this and this. So then it's like they already become, 10 grand more. And then there's taxes you don't think about. And then there's titling and there's all these fees. So like whatever you think the price is going to be, it's not that. So we went and test drove. We looked at like a Mercedes. We looked at a Range Rover. We went to BMW. And then AJ really wanted an electric car. He was all about having an electric car. So I was like, okay. And he wanted to go test drive Tesla. And I couldn't do it. I could not do it. We went and test drove it. I don't know. Teslas to me feel very sterile. Like you get in, I don't know if everyone's ever been in one or if you're a Tesla owner, but when you get in them, it's like it's a car with a big iPad screen. And that's it. There's no buttons. There's nothing. It's not cozy. It's just very blah, very sterile. This is the best way I can explain it. And then there's this giant sunroof that you can't close a shade over. So you feel like you're kind of in like a spaceship and in a bubble. And I was like, I don't know. The technology of the Tesla was super cool. Like it was by far way more advanced than any other vehicle. But the car itself, I'm like, this is like a little go-kart, like a space. Wasn't for me. So we test drove it. We get out, and the guy's like, "So, man, like, what'd you think?" And I was like, "I don't know. It was okay." And I said, "I gotta be honest with you. I can't give my money to Elon Musk, so I can't do it." And you're trying to figure out like the difference between leasing and financing and these rates and and like, does anyone really know what the fuck is going on? Like, there's so many different options. You can lease it and you can have this many miles for this many months, or you can finance it and get it at this rate. And it's like, it's extremely overwhelming. I roll over to Audi, and this guy greets me. Shout out to Tony. He was amazing. And I'm like, "Look, buddy, I have been to so many dealers. I'm exhausted. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I have. This is the amount I want to spend a month. Like, let's make it work. What can we look at?" This guy took care of me. We went test drove a bunch of different stuff. I ended up buying this Audi Q6, and it is fully electric. So I was like, "Look, AJ is going to get his electric vehicle, and I don't have to give my money to Elon Musk." It's a beautiful SUV. It has all the bells and whistles, and they took our BMW and they paid it off completely, even though we were like upside down on it. Took it off or paid the entire thing off, which was a great thing because we have like the Carfax car. Is that what it's called? Carfax? Where you get the report of your car. So they must have just done their maintenance thing, because we got an email from the Carfax. They had to replace so much shit. I mean, the rotors, the brake pads, so much stuff. I was like, if you had to fix all that on a BMW, that would have been thousands and thousands of dollars. So I was like, you know what? Thank God we got rid of the BMW. We're very happy with our Audi. Shout out to Tony. He was amazing. And a huge shout out to our friends, Nate, Ben, and AJ. Not my AJ, a different AJ. And not me, Ben, a different Ben. Confusing, I know. They came and helped install this amazing charging station at our house. So now the car charges in just a couple hours. So my week was consumed all about cars and vehicles, but it's done. The deal is signed and done. So I'm so excited. I'm so happy with my choice. For anyone out there, here's my advice to you. If you are wanting anything that is a foreign vehicle, anything that's not American made, you need to go get it now. You need to trade your shit in and get it now, because my exact car that I just bought, they showed me, it's the ones that are on the ships right now that are going to be coming in, are $15,000 more due to the tariffs. $15,000. So if you are in the market for a new car, go get the ones, because the ones that are on the lot, those are the last ones at that price. And if you're buying an American car, then I think you're fine. But if you want anything that's foreign, go get it now. There's my advice for the day. All right, everyone. So today's guest is a very good friend of mine. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Let's get into it. So today we have actually one of AJ's best friends of like 20 years. But the second her and I met, we immediately became friends.
Immediately.
And I'd like to welcome Miss Cassandra to the podcast. Welcome to It's Been a Week.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
You're an avid listener too, aren't you?
I sure am. I listen every single week.
I see her comments on Spotify.
Yep. Comments on Spotify.
Yeah. There's the plug. Make sure you leave me a 5-star review and comments and everything. Okay, so Cassandra and I met for the first time, which is a funny story because it was actually AJ and I had been dating for like a week.
If that.
Yeah. And he was like, "Do you want to come to Aruba with me?" And I was like, "No, I'm not going to be the next Natalie Holloway." And then he's like, "Just come. And then I ended up going. Literally have known him 2 weeks. We've been dating like a week. And I get thrown into this group of women who are there for a bachelorette party.
Right. There was like 15 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it ended up like not even really being a bachelorette party. It more became my birthday with all of these girls that I had just met.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. So, yeah. So I see you for the first time in the lobby, and there's a spelling bee competition.
Oh, yes. We're all like drinking. Were we getting ready to go out that night? You were late.
I was late, of course.
Like on a wrong flight or something. We're drinking. I think we were going to go out. Yeah. And there was a spelling bee. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing watching a spelling bee?
Yeah, but it was intense. Like, we were invested.
That little girl, Erin.
Yeah.
That trip was so wild. I mean, we got wasted. We went on this thing called the Aruba roller coaster, which what that means is you get on a school bus that has like broken out windows, and they drive you around to other you go bar hopping. But they took this bus on like a roundabout. Do you remember this?
Yes.
And they like were flooring it, and we were flying all over the bus. I think Colleen and a few other people were like literally thought their lives were going to end.
Crying, like head in her hands between her knees, crying,
like praying.
Out the window. Like...
I know. I think we had our heads out the window. We're like thinking it's a real fucking roller coaster.
Oh my gosh.
That bus could have like rolled.
Absolutely.
For sure could have rolled.
Yeah, because I mean he was going so fast, so we're all pushed to one side. We're hanging out the window.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Aruba is one of those places, like it was really fun, but I wouldn't want to go unless there was like a group.
Yeah.
Because there's really not that much to do there.
No, it's very flat. And like, so my husband and I went a few years prior and it was fine. Like, you know, it's any vacation is great, right? But like going with a group of fun people is always the way to go. Especially in Aruba.
We would just do like
the sombrero.
I
had never laughed that hard in my entire life. And they just like, their whole mission and goal was to get us to fly off of that sombrero and into the ocean.
That was when I broke AJ's rib, right?
Yep.
We went tubing behind this like, it was like one was a sombrero and one was like some other inflatable thing.
Yep.
I grew up on a lake. I take tubing very seriously, and I'm a very good tuber. So I just had the assumption, like, I don't know, we're all good tubers. And we were out in the middle of the ocean hitting like giant fucking waves.
Yep.
Like launching into the air. So I am jumping from tube to tube. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Everyone's holding on for dear life. And I'm like, I'm going to jump on that tube. And this, because like, that's what.
Little grasshopper out there.
Yeah. Because I've told you, I grew up on a lake. Like, this is what we did. And I remember I jumped onto your guys' tube and it flipped and everyone went flying off. And AJ broke his rib.
Yeah.
No, first week of dating me, it broke his rib.
It's certainly not the last. We also did the pirate ship.
Right? The pirate ship.
So there was like a guy that there's a rope, right? And so you can just like swing and, flip off of it. And I like clung onto this guy and he flipped. He did like a whole flip. That was fun.
Thinking back on it, nothing seems like safe.
No.
In Aruba.
No, we could have very much gotten extremely hurt
multiple times
and maybe kidnapped.
We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Me.
Then we went to that. Remember, there was like a music festival.
Yeah, like on the beach.
Beach, and then you climbed the pergola.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, don't challenge me, especially when I start drinking. It's on. Like
you like climbed this pergola, and then the security guards were coming, and you hid up there. You laid down and hid while the security came. Then you got down, and then remember there were so many different swimming pools, and we were jumping from pool to pool, and you dove into this pool, which happened to be the kiddie pool.
Mm-hmm.
It was all
like maybe 6 inches of water,
and you dove.
I still have a scar on my foot from that. Like, and then I was doing walkovers. Oh yeah. You know what? The one thing that I don't remember about that trip is like any good food. I remember we went to one restaurant and it was terrible. I was like falling asleep at the table.
Well, we would order room service to our room every night. Remember, we had like 15 cheeseburgers and like all the food was in our room.
Oh my God, all the food. So you guys were at the Ritz and then we were next door at the Marriott and I kept like
coming over
back and forth.
Well, because we had this giant suite because AJ did this whole thing and rode into the Ritz and it was like my partner's birthday. And I'm like, your partner? It's been a week.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of a big word for a week in, but whatever. I mean, it worked out. Then I remember we were trying to leave Aruba and AJ's like, well, I have global entry. So he just like skipped right on through.
Leaves us in the dust.
We are like shaking, having like full on withdrawals from alcohol. And like the Aruba airport was interesting. There was like 4 security checkpoints.
Right. So there was like US customs, then and Aruba customs. And then I feel like a 3rd and 4th checkpoint. It was bizarre.
Like we had to keep putting our bags through the x-ray machines. We had to keep doing all the things.
Okay, wait. So the first time we went through security, or I went through security, right? It was with you. And you were trying to like change my seat too. Do you remember?
Well, yeah, because you had like a middle seat. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And like you were like trying to like change it on my phone.
And I was like, had arthritis. I couldn't move my hands. We get through security though. We make it. And then we go to the lounge.
Right.
And everyone's flights are leaving. Everyone's,
No. They were getting delayed. They kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And then they said, you probably like, you're going to be stuck in the airport all night. Maybe you guys got out, but like the rest of us were stuck in the airport. And so,
because you guys were going back to New York and there was a storm or something.
right. Yeah. So Christina was like, well, if we're going to be stuck in Aruba, like, I don't want to be stuck in the airport. I'm going to get a hotel. I'm like, I'm going with you. So they had to walk us out. Like they don't want people, once you get through security, they don't want you to exit the building unless you're on a flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this woman was so annoyed, and we're 6 hours wasted drinking rum, like IV rum, into the VIP room. And so I'm trying to walk out with like a drink, and she's like, you can't take that. And so she escorts us out, was not happy about it. And me and Christina stay, right? So we go to the Flamingo Hotel.
Wait, we need to talk about this for 1 second.
Oh, Flamingos.
Flamingos.
Okay.
Aruba is known for flamingos. Like every postcard is flamingos, like their little logo is flamingos.
Happiest place on earth.
Everything is flamingo. So I'm thinking there's going to be flamingos everywhere.
Mhm.
Everywhere we look, there's going to be flamingos. There's one location where they have flamingos.
Yep.
But then we never even got to see the flamingos. You went, and how many were there?
There was like 4.
Like 4 fucking flamingos.
4, and they weren't pink. We did get to see a guy propose to his girlfriend, so that was cool. That was the highlight of going to Flamingo Island.
I don't give a shit about that.
know.
I want to see the flamingos.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was like nothing out there. It was like very disappointing. Yeah.
Mhm.
And severely hungover. And so Christina and I are like, let's just, like keep it a calm night. We end up going to the pool, and the bar was like backed up to the pool that we're in. And so I just do one of these, and I grab some random bottle, and I grab this huge bottle of Beef Eater's gin.
Ugh.
I don't drink gin. I will drink any and everything. Gin is not it. I'm like mean. My husband will probably attest to this, or my friend. Like very few times in my life have I had gin. Mean, right? So I'm like, oh god damn it! Like, of course that's the one that I pull up. We end up drinking it anyway, chugging it straight. Didn't have a mean episode, but definitely like have not had gin.
I don't like gin.
It's disgusting. Like a gin and tonic. Who likes that?
Tastes like pine needles.
Ugh, nasty.
So then you make it to the airport the next day. Christina gets on the flight, and you're like, I'll get on the next one?
No. We couldn't. She booked her flight, and then like, I don't know. I waited like 20 minutes to like rebook my flight or something, and I couldn't get on the flight that she was on. But mine was like, whatever, another half hour after or something. So same deal. Go through 17 checkpoints of security, get to the VIP lounge, and that's where I meet Gina and Francisco. Okay. And so Christina's like, I'm gonna head to the gate. I'm like, I'm chilling with Gina and Francisco. I mean, just their whole job is to pour rum. and I'm like, can't miss my flight. And they're like, no, they'll call it over the loudspeaker. You just gotta like listen for it. So I'm like, okay. And there was not a single call. I know that, like, as drunk as I was, there was not a single call. Okay. And maybe also like my passport had my maiden name on it. And so maybe I was like maybe I was listening for like my married name, and I just wasn't. I don't know. But there was no call to the VIP lounge. There was no call over the loudspeaker. Let's say my flight's at 6:59, right? And they start boarding 30 minutes before. It was like 6:52. And I'm like, oh, fuck, holy shit. And they were like, Cassandra, go. Run you down, ready down. I run to the gate, and there's the same bitch that had to escort me out the day before. And she's pissed. She's like, sorry, gates are closed. It was like, she's like, well, we can't open the gates now. They close the doors. And I was like, I don't understand. I'm here. I've been here. Like, that I checked in, and you didn't call down to the loud. You didn't call my name over the loudspeaker. She's like, no. And I'm like, well, I don't understand why you can't open the gate. And she's like, we would have to get TSA down here. I'm like, bring the dogs, get TSA down here. And now I'm like hysterical, blacked out drunk. And she's like, nope, sorry. I'm like, yesterday you had a huge problem walking me out. Now you won't let me leave. Like, I was being a nightmare. And she's like, sorry. So I'm like, okay. Now also, there are not, like, the Aruba airport, flights aren't coming in and out all day, all night. Like, there's very few flights going to certain locations.
Right, because it's a little island.
Yeah. And it's like a pretty small airport. And so she's like, nope, sorry. And this is the last flight out to New York. And I'm like, what? So now they have to walk me out again, have to leave the airport, escorted again. And I am beyond myself. I'm calling you guys, hyperventilating.
We've been back in LA for like 2 days at this point.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the sidewalk, FaceTiming you guys, crying like I don't know what to do. I hadn't even called my husband at this point to tell him. I was like, oh my God, I missed my flight. I don't know. And all of a sudden, this car pulls up and she's like, are you Cassandra? And I'm like, yeah, who the fuck are you? And she's like, oh my gosh, I work with Francisco and Gina. They told me that you missed your flight. They feel so bad. My boyfriend works at the airport. I'm gonna try to see if I can get you another flight. I'll get you to a hotel. And so she takes me to a hotel. Now this is my fourth hotel that I've been in, called the Talk of the Town.
And also, you got in the car with a stranger
I did. But I trusted Gina and Francisco, so I was like, okay.
because you've known them for a day.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So they take me to the Talk of the Town. I am still like, I get my hotel room.
I think you were becoming the talk of the town.
Absolutely. I mean, couldn't have landed at a more fitting hotel, right? So I'm FaceTiming you again, and all of a sudden the hotel phone rings, and I'm like, fuck is calling me? Like no one but you guys knew that I was at this hotel, so I'm like, oh, hello. And I hear a voice, and she's like, Cassandra? I'm like, yeah. She's like, it's Gina. It's Gina from the freaking lounge. She's like, I felt so bad. Can I please take you out? I'm at the hotel. So and so told me what hotel they dropped out. I'm like, okay. Mind you, my phone's about to die. Nobody knows that I'm here and stuck except you guys. And so I'm like, okay, I'll be right down. So I go and I meet her at the front desk, and she's like, I'm so, so sorry. Please let me take you to dinner. I'm like, okay, absolutely. Thinking, great.
And then you went on a hike with her.
We did. We went on a hike. She took me around. I met her grandmother and her son. Like, she drove me around.
Again, did we learn nothing from Natalie Holloway? This is how you were like, you got in a car with strangers, went to a random hotel, got in her vehicle, and like went, and then you went for a hike with a dead phone.
I know, but here I am with a great story.
I mean, you're lucky you were here to tell the tale.
Yeah, I know, really, truly. And so we hike around. We get some food, drinks. She drops me back off. And now I wake up and I'm like, I've told my husband at this point now that I'm like 3 or 4 days late from my return trip. And I'm like, I'm not gonna drink when I get to the airport. I'm gonna get through security. I'm gonna go straight, do not pass go, like just straight to the gate. And I walk in and there's Francisco, and he's like, Cassandra, it is my job to escort you to your gate today. No.
Did you make that flight?
Yes, I did. And I had one drink. It was a beer because I needed to like settle my nerves.
So you did make it out of Aruba 4 days later.
I did make it out of Aruba. I had to take the train back, like the AirTran from JFK to the Long Island Railroad. And my brother picked me up because my husband was so pissed. I walked in the door. He was not waiting with the welcome back sign, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he was just like, the fuck?
Well, that was the Aruba story.
Yeah, that was how we met.
So you've had an interesting week, huh?
Yeah.
You're here visiting us here at the ranch.
I sure am. And I just came from Kansas, Wichita, Kansas.
The fuck are you doing in Kansas?
I have never been to Kansas, and I don't think if it wasn't for twirling, I would probably never
Twirling.
visit. Yes, baton twirling. So baton twirling, it is still a thing. It's a funny, unique little
like spinning the stick, the baton.
Metal rod you throw up into the air. And I've been involved since I was 4 years old. So I'm like coming up on like 38 years involved.
Holy shit.
I know, it's crazy. Started as an athlete. I remember writing in like 4th or 5th grade, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, I want to be a professional baton twirler. My teacher was like, that's funny. Speaking of asshole teachers, what was his name? Mr. Hecht?
Mr. Hank.
Mr. Hank. I had one of those that was like, okay. And I was like, no, seriously. And they were like, no, really, what do you actually want to do? I'm like, I want to be a professional baton twirler. And so I was an athlete for, many, many years. and I was able to I twirled in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. We stayed in the Twin Towers in New York City.
Oh my God.
I went to the very first International Cup in Minnesota. Yep, went to Mall America and, got a gold medal, and then as an athlete, I was kinda like, "All right, this is where I exit. I can retire now." And, I got involved in coaching, and then I took over an organization in New York. I was running an organization for about 10 years, and then also maybe about 15 or so years ago, started judging. And so judging was always, like, petrifying to me because, like, you're just on the other side of the table. It's just a totally different side of a sport, you know? And my mentor always said, You'll become a better coach when you start judging." And it's so very true. Like, you just see it in a different way. But, so I've kind of hit, like, all assets. So I kind of did become a professional baton twirler, but,
So fuck that teacher.
I know, fuck him.
Don't
Um,
let everyone tell you can't live your dreams.
yeah, that's right. So now I get the amazing opportunity to travel the country and judge baton twirling contests. So
How do you judge baton twirling? What are you looking for?
right. So there's different events, so it depends on the event. There's foundational type events where you literally march in a square. You have to start on the left foot. You have to march 8 counts. You have to turn sharp, pick your knees up, point your toes. So all those little things, just in a foundational, like recreational level type of event, you're looking for those, little things. Then when you get to like championship events, when they're twirling faster and they're rolling the baton on their body, they're tossing it up and they're doing like an illusion and cartwheel and aerials, and they're doing multiple of those gymnastic moves under, and then also like catching it behind their back or like behind their head. Like it is really truly amazing how much the sport has changed from when I was little, because you hear baton twirling, you're like, oh, it's where you throw the stick up in the air and like,
Right.
marching band. Yes, like there is still twirling in college. Twirling in college is very different than competitive twirling. So,
Like, what's the age of these people you're judging?
for the most part, I mean, anywhere from like the novice to beginner slash intermediate athletes, you're looking at like 6 to 15. And then where you get to like the advanced elite level, that's where maybe like, 15 to 21, 22 ish.
Is there ever like a random 45-year-old doing it?
There's a couple.
There is?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's strange because I've gone through so many decades of twirling, as like I said, as an athlete, as a coach, judge,
But there's no
performer.
age limit on.
There isn't, no. Like, right now, you can still compete at the world level as a 49-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, and, what's pretty interesting is in the United States, baton twirling is mostly female dominated,
Hmm.
but the rest of the world, like Italy, France, Japan, it's 50-50, and, like, some places more male dominated than
Really?
yeah.
Because when I think of it, I would just think it's like little gay boys that are like,
No, I know.
dude, twirling the thing.
I
But
feel
that's,
like that is more so reflective in the United States than it is
yeah,
in other countries.
that's interesting.
I know, it really is.
So would you ever go back to competing or no?
Oh, no.
Can you still do it though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm on the national coaches department, and I certify new coaches, and, part of that workshop is demonstrating how you're teaching, like, foundational type skills, how you're gripping the baton, holding the baton, moving it. You learn about patterns and planes. I never realized how much math and geometry is involved in the sport until you start coaching it.
Oh, I'd be terrible.
I know. Listen.
Math is not my strong suit.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just like continuous patterns on a vertical and a horizontal plane. So like the plane above your head, at your waist, below, and then side to side, and just creating circles after circles, keeping the batons moving. And also there's multiple baton, which is really cool. So you're twirling 2 or 3 batons at one time. So, yeah,
That's
I
crazy.
know. It's like pretty amazing. I love being involved in the sport, and I always say like I'll do whatever I can to keep our unique little sport alive. And there's so much talk of like why isn't in the Olympics? It's not as easy as just being like, hey,
Added to the Olympics.
right, right. There's a whole process. Like there needs to be a certain number of governing bodies across the world, and what that means is like each governing body, like we all agree that these are the events. this is the judging scale, this is the timing, this is the music. And right now, like even in the United States, there's so much politics involved.
Of
in this,
course,
you know,
of
like
course.
within anything. But um, there's two different organizations that are basically like sort of fighting like the way that we do it is better, and instead of sort of coming together. That's what we're working on right now is just becoming one unified sport, and it's hard. I mean, it's like gymnastics, right? Like you
Right.
have the beam event and you have rhythmic where they're tossing the ball up and they're like, they have the hula hoop, and that's like a facet of gymnastics. Whereas like baton twirling, it's just not as, I don't know. There's sort of like three different um fighting bodies, I would say. There was like the majorettes who like they wear the boots and they're all about high knees and like, twirling fast, and then there's like the two other organizations that have competitive events that we just I mean, it's the sport is decades old,
Right.
so
So you're trying to keep it alive.
yeah, trying.
That's cool though. So
Yeah.
where will you do next? Just keep judging?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I really love judging, and the obviously like gives me a great opportunity to travel the country. Twirling is all over the country, which is great.
That's so crazy. It's like its own little world.
It is. It is. Like we're a small world.
Because like I haven't heard of it since like high school. Like
I know.
it kind of goes away because
Yeah.
you don't like think about it.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because like any time we've done some sort of community event, like whether it's a parade or a festival and we're out there twirling, somebody always stops by and they're like, "Oh yeah, my mom used to do that or my grandma used to do it." Like everybody knows somebody that did it at some point, and
But it is a very old school
it's very old
sport.
school. Yeah. And I mean, we're trying to keep it, contemporary and interesting, because it just doesn't compete with gymnastics and dance and cheer. That's like a global phenomenon.
Right.
It just isn't. But I mean, the talent that it takes and the coordination you need to be able to throw a baton, a metal rod up, do a trick, and then catch it with precision in not just like catching it. I mean, some of these athletes are doing phenomenal things. They're catching it in a split, like behind their back, and continuing to move at like an impressive speed. It's really amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people learn more or
Well, you can go to ustwirling.com.
okay.
It is the hub for United States twirling. And if you're interested in getting involved as a judge or a coach, there are a number of people that you can reach out to. And I'm on the coaches department. I certify new coaches. Even if you twirled as, a young girl and are interested in starting your own group, um, it's very easy to get back into it. There's so many local councils that are running competitions, running events that you can just start to build up a little rec team and
Yeah.
get some kids out there.
Okay, well we'll link that website in the show notes.
Cool.
Hopefully we get some more twirlers out there.
Yeah, we'd love that.
So you recently moved to North Carolina
Yep.
from New York. How are you liking it?
Love it.
Was it so you bought your new house, right?
Yes.
How'd that go?
Best decision we ever made was leaving Long Island. And I mean, it's tough because our family is there and, my twirling community is there. It was a huge decision, but we just kept thinking like the quality of life for our kids. So my kids are 10 and 13, was just like, it would be worlds different. And like Long Island has become very unsafe. The congestion, the price, the schools are not great. And
There are some wild people in Texas. See, there's certain people you can't trust everyone.
I know. You can't. There are definitely some people you cannot trust. Like I do not trust somebody that brushes their teeth in the shower. It's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. Okay.
Like,
Like
wait, you mean like a one-off or like someone who regularly brushes in the shower?
regularly. Like a one off, fine. But like, are you taking your toothbrush in a hotel shower?
No, not regularly,
I guess
but
depending how long you're staying there, maybe.
no, but there's been situations where I'm like, I'm in a hurry or I'm like, oh, I don't have a lot of time. So I'm like brushing my teeth in the shower.
How does that work? You brush your teeth and then you open your mouth to the like shower head water is going into your mouth and then you're spitting that down by your feet?
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, which is difficult because you brush your teeth and then you spit like down the drain, and then to rinse your mouth, you're like
I'm
up to
sorry.
the shower head, which doesn't give like a solid stream of water. It's like a sprinkle,
Mm-hmm.
so it takes a minute for your mouth to like fill up with water.
But
But yeah,
you have 1 minute. You have at least one additional minute to go by the sink and brush your teeth like a normal human being. No?
yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. No, you're
I don't trust people who don't swear.
no, I don't either. Also, I don't trust people that are the same person to every single person. Like I'm different as a mom as I am as a wife, as I am to my friends or to my colleagues. Like I think you need that shift. People that are the same across all circles are fucking miserable fucks, like your teacher, Mr. Hank.
Mr. Hank. Oh, there was another one, Miss Erickson.
Ugh, they're probably just nasty
Miserable
to the postman.
and terrible in bed.
Terrible, right? That's what I'm saying. You're a different person in bed than you are in.
I also don't trust people who put like their left sock on and then their left shoe and then their right sock and then their right shoe. Like, who does that? You put both your socks on and you put both your shoes on.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
No, that is weird. What about people that have crop circles in their backyard?
That's a thing.
Okay, I have a theory. Okay. I flew from Kansas to Denver because I had a fucking layover.
In the opposite side of the country.
Yeah, to get down to Texas. It's fine. And crossing over that part of the country where there's like not a lot of electricity and stores and resources, but there are multiple crop circles. Some are green, some are brown, some are a full square, some are rectangle. What the fuck
Sounds
is
like Squid Games.
I know but like what are they doing? What
There's
is
so many
happening out there?
No, there's so much stuff we don't know about.
I have a theory.
Tell
Okay.
me.
The center of the crop circle
Hmm.
is like a location point for some underground tunnels that are happening.
I fully believe that like the government or whoever, like I think they have a Sasquatch and mermaids and aliens and everything like captured that they're studying.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're when
All
they're,
underground.
yeah, like Area 51 or like isn't it underneath is it the Denver airport underneath of it?
There's
There's like
some weird shit with the Denver. Look that up, listeners. Look that up. There's some weird conspiracy theories.
like
About
there's
Denver
shit like the
airport.
way the roof is built, you can't see it from when you're flying above, like it blends in. And there was this whole thing with like presidents. I think the president could like hide out underneath the Denver airport or something. The whole thing, like when there's smoke, there's fire. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's no way that everyone has been talking about Sasquatch or like the Loch Ness monster and all this stuff and mermaids for years. Like you don't just come up with that. Someone has seen one. There's somewhere somehow.
Yeah. No, I mean, we are a small planet in a vast universe. And so and one universe.
But did you
One
see that
planet,
new
one
planet they found?
no.
There's a new planet they found, and it has like carbon monoxide and something else, so that like proves that there's living things on it. So like there's life on another planet.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that in the whole world, the whole universe, that we are the only planet that has life on it.
Right. Well, and this is one universe. There has to be multiple universes.
There's we can't even, I don't even think we've gotten out of the Milky Way, have we?
I don't think so.
So yeah, there might not be another planet with life like, in our solar system, but you can't tell me like elsewhere there isn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Like, do you think God really made Earth and was like, okay, I nailed it?
Are we going to talk about God right now?
No, there's been so much religion. I can't even get down. I can't talk more about fucking Jesus.
I know.
No, but there's got to be more out there.
Yes, a larger being or larger entity that is and has controlled what happens in this universe. I don't know. It's fucked up.
It's crazy.
It
It's
is.
crazy to think about. And I wonder, like, I should talk about this when I speak with the death doula again, because she's going to come back.
Okay.
Like, do you think when we die that we get all the answers?
I don't know. I had this crazy dream a few weeks ago that I died in a car crash that like hit the water. And in the next 24 hours, my body was gone, but like my subconscious was still there. And so my subconscious was sort of like working through like all of the things my life has been and what could be when you think about like, just like in your head and in your thoughts, which could be like an interesting movie idea, right?
Totally.
Right. So, but I woke up And I was like, "Does that happen? Do you like,
Right.
when you die, does it immediately switch off, or, like, are there things that, like, have to be resolved from, like, you get those answers?
Because there's things like
Don't we deserve those answers
well,
at
we
death?
do deserve these fucking answers,
Fuck.
but there's things like ghosts and spirits. So it's like, what happens?
Yeah.
Which I think I'm going to talk more about that with the death doula because I'm very scared of death, but there's so many questions. You know what I mean? But do you believe like in reincarnation?
I do. I've watched some, like, fucking very interesting stories about young children that are like, I died in a plane crash in World War
Right? They
II."
say shit
They
that
say
is
things
so
that
specific and so
so
crazy. Like how a kid that
and
young,
can be fact checked. Like,
yeah.
there are names and, like, histories to what these stories that they're telling. I don't think a child, listen, kids make up some crazy shit for sure.
But to be that specific and be correct,
Yes. That's you kids are not looking up yellow pages, looking up
well,
Jane's.
they can't. Half of them can't even read when they're telling these stories. It's like,
No.
how are they saying this shit?
Right, and they're so descriptive. That's why I believe in it, because it's not just like a wild imagination. The description and the accuracy of what you can fact check against. Like, how do you
How do you feel about reincarnation though? Like, do you want to come back?
um I don't think so.
Like, I love
Maybe.
this life.
I do too. I really love my life. I love, like, all the things I've done, the places I've seen, I've
Like,
met, but,
I
like,
don't want to start over.
I
Do you know
know.
what I mean? Like, I've gone through so much shit. I've had to learn so many lessons. Like, imagine you have to like start at ground zero again. I'm like, wow,
I
fuck.
know, but do you think maybe you've been reincarnated several times before? You know, when you get, like, deja vu and you're like,
Mm.
"Oh shit, I've been here before." Like, I know this moment.
Okay, but I get deja vu all the time.
Does it freak you out?
Yes, because there's times where I'm literally like, I dreamt that. Like, I remember dreaming this.
Yeah. I've
Eh,
been here. I know this. I
I
know this moment.
like it's like I can see. I'm like, yes. So that deja vu, that's a weird,
It is a
weird thing
yeah. It freaks me the fuck out too.
because I've had moments where I'm like, oh, it's all and it like plays out in my head. And I'm like, I remember dreaming this. Like, I can't like pinpoint exactly when,
Yeah.
but I'll be like, I remember seeing this exact thing play out like this.
Have you had deja vu while you're dreaming? Basically, like, a recurring dream.
I don't remember my
Nightmare.
dreams.
Really? At
No,
all? Not a single one.
there's a few.
Mhm.
It's very rare that I'll remember my dreams.
Okay.
Like usually if I do, I'll try to like write it in my notes on my phone because I wake up and I don't remember my dreams.
Mhm.
But there's a few dreams that I've had multiple times. And I think they say there's like, don't quote me on the number, but there's like 8 dreams that you'll have like 16 times in your life or something like that.
Okay.
And there is a few of them that I've had over and over and I'll wake up and be like, wow, I had the dream again. And it's like, but it's weird dream. It's like, it's nothing meaningful or like
Right.
deep. It's like, the one is like I'm in the movie Ghostbusters and it's like with the statue things and with the girl and I'm like, well, what? But I've had that dream multiple times, like that same building. It's weird.
Yeah. That's where I feel like deja vu comes in during your dreams and, like, fucking throws you for a loop. Because I've had this one dream since I was a kid. I haven't had it in a very long time, but as a child, I maybe once every 3 years, it was driving up to this house on a hill. And, like, I could probably draw out what that house and the hill and the driveway looks like. And something fucked up would always happen in the upstairs bedroom. It would just be like going through the house normally, but then, like, always towards the end of the dream, there, like, something fucked up would happen, and I'd wake up and yeah, like, reoccurring nightmares
What is it?
are
Is
not
there a
great.
person that it, like studies dreams or like is it like a
I don't know.
dreamologist?
We
What
need
is
to
it?
get them on here though.
Okay, anyone listening, if you are or you know anyone that is a dreamologist, a dream connoisseur, a dream analyst,
Analyst, yeah.
whatever it is, please reach out to me. I would love to have someone come on and talk about dreams
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
because that is it. There's so much to that.
There really is. So I recently had read that, if you're having trouble sleeping, which, like, I feel like I wake up at the witching hour, between 2 and 3, and it's just like I wake up and I'm shot out of a cannon. Like, I cannot turn my brain off. I will doom scroll. I will stare at the ceiling. I will just try to, like,
That's the
I
worst.
know, it really is. And, like, I just, like, haven't been able to get out of this habit. And of course, one night where I'm up, this whatever, Instagram reel comes up and it says like, close your eye or like close your eyes, focus on your third eye. Okay, so like close your eye, imagine there's that third eye, and just like visualize that third eye, and you'll remember your dreams, and it'll help you to like go to sleep. And it's sort of like a meditation thing, right?
Right.
I used to do this breathing exercise where I would close my eyes, breathe in for 3, hold for 3, release for 3. So you count 1, 2, 3, count to 6, hold it, and then release till 9. And that will put me out pretty much every single time. And it's just, I think, distracting.
Really?
Yeah. Distracting your brain from like all the bullshit.
When my head hits the pillow, I'm out.
That is my husband too.
Like AJ he'll turn a show on and I will make it not even 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that comes from when I was a kid, I always, every single night, went to bed with the TV on.
Mm-hmm.
Every night. So I think now my brain literally is like, when the TV's on, it like tells my brain like, oh, it's sleepy time.
Yeah.
Because like, even if I'm watching a movie at like 2 PM, I'll fucking fall asleep. It drives me nuts because sometimes I'm like, I really want to watch this.
Yeah.
Always will fall asleep.
But are there times where you wake up in the middle of the night and then you can't go back to sleep?
Not very often.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can sleep through like I remember being at this barrel race one time, and my horse trailer's parked next to a train track, and the train came in the middle of the night, and everyone was like, oh, gosh, the train. I was like, there was a train?
Mm-hmm.
Like I could sleep on the cement in the subway station and it, like lights out.
Mm.
And but see, like my dreams, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to remember them. What if they're bad?
Yeah.
And also, what if it's like so good? Like I do have this reoccurring dream that like Beyonce and I are friends for real.
Yeah.
And it like, we're really good friends.
Manifest it, babe.
But then I wake up and I'm like, oh shit, that's not real.
Yeah.
I mean, I did used to spin with her 3 days a week at Soul Cycle, and we would talk, but we weren't like friends.
I had a dream in college where I was, it's probably like borderline alcoholic. We went to school, University of Miami.
Yeah,
right?
who isn't?
AJ and I. So every night was a party. I drank an absurd amount of vodka and Bacardi Raz and just like you name it. And there was one night where I had a dream that I murdered someone, that I put their body in the Everglades.
I've had these dreams.
So that the crocodiles could eat it and I wouldn't be found out. I woke up and I had like a Britney Spears moment where I was like, I'm going to shave my head. I need to leave the country. I killed somebody last night. Like, holy fuck. And my roommate was like, chill the fuck out. You did not. We went to South Beach. We got wasted, came home. You're fine.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure? Like, I mean, for months, I was paranoid. Like, I legitimately thought that I fucking murdered somebody.
I had a dream one time, and it was like, I think I've been watching too much like Jeffrey Dahmer, but I was like, I murdered someone, and then I woke up and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But see, that's why I kind of like that I don't normally remember my dreams.
Yeah.
Because I just wake up, I'm in my reality. It's all good.
I know.
But I do also want, if anyone like, I would love to hear if anyone has any of the conspiracy theories on like Sasquatch and mermaids and Loch Ness Monster and aliens. Like the shit's out there.
Also like underground tunnels.
Underground, and not P. Diddy's underground tunnels.
No. What's happening Kansas and Nebraska and all, you know what I mean?
There's
so much land.
I'm saying there's so much shit we don't know. There's so much.
Yeah.
Part of me doesn't want to know.
I know.
All right. Well, this podcast was all over the fucking map.
We hit every
all over the place, but I love it.
Yep.
Thank you for being on. It's been a week.
Thank you for having me.
And everyone else, I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you for listening to that episode of It's Been a Week, but don't touch that dial because it's not over yet. Get ready for the after show. Been there, done that with AJ. Well, we're going to get AJ's take on whatever the fuck I just said. Okay, been there, done that with AJ.
Benjamin.
Yes.
At what point did you think not putting the lug nuts back on the tire was a smart idea?
Look, we weren't going very far. I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Well, that's a problem because evidently when you drive without lug nuts on the tire, it falls off.
Well, look, it all worked out. We saved a squirrel. No one was injured.
But the funniest part is 5 minutes before this, whatever it was, when you were like, back the truck up onto this big piece of wood. I'm like, it's not going to work. Yes, it will. No, it's not going to work. I'm like, no, it's not going to work. The floor is too slippery. There's nothing to grip it. It'll work. You got all agitated. So then I had to get in the truck and attempt to drive this thing onto the wood. And what happened?
Well, because you don't
What
listen.
happened?
It didn't work. But you don't listen to me.
What do you want me to listen to? I'm
Like-
17 steps ahead.
Well,
It's not going to work.
When I say do something, just fucking do it.
No, that's rude. If I were to say that to you, you'd be like, don't tell me what to do.
Well, that's true.
But then you proceeded to drive without the lug nuts on. Did you think about that?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. For those out there that know, that's one of those moments where it looks like that GIF with that little kid when he's looking up at the sky and he's like, woo, ah.
Well, I just was like, oh, well, the tires will surely stay on. We're only going like 20 feet. Maybe 200 feet. But
you could have put like 2 on out of the 10 or whatever there is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a great start to the morning.
Yeah.
I had someone emailing me this morning wanting really absurd, crazy things to happen for themselves without understanding the process and the investment. I went to the dentist, which was at the end of it all an amazing experience, but it really didn't start out that way. It was quite the morning after you lost those lug nuts. But
is that why you've been a crabby bitch all day?
I don't know if that's true. Maybe just with you. But I think everyone else that had meetings with me thought I was pretty cool today.
I'm pretty sure you were emailing the lady back and forth, like being a bitch. And I'm pretty sure you were a little snotty with the dental people, telling them you had places to be and they needed to hurry up with your cleaning.
Okay. Listen, you weren't on my emails and I was
but I've heard you tell 5 people about it.
Well, isn't this a change of story here? A little switcheroo. I
twist.
talk about something more than once for a change.
Well, I just want to show the world that you too can be a bitch.
I know, but I'm not. I wasn't mean at all, actually. And there's a big difference between being a bitch and having strength, boundary.
Okay, little toughie, you.
I love Cassandra.
Well, she's your best friend.
I mean, I have been friends with Cassandra for literally like 20 years. And we got some stories. When I lost my apartment in Hurricane Katrina, a tree fell on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was inside when the tree fell on it. And the water started coming through the ceiling and through the light fixtures. Oh, I got a story for that for 1 second. Then we'll end this. I went and lived with Cassandra for a month before I found a new apartment because I was picky. And I needed to find something I liked.
Right.
And I love her. I mean, we've just had such an amazing friendship. And for those out there that have had long friendships like that, that's family. It's just really special when you're friends with someone that long and you just, every time you talk, it feels great. Every time you have those breaks in life where you're doing all these other things, you come back, the person's there, like you never left them. Another friend of mine from college, Grace, I just caught up with this past week and we haven't talked in a long time. And it was like no time had passed. So I love those friendships. But speaking of water coming through ceilings and lights.
Oh, God. Yes.
This is how much it's been a week. We come home the other night and we look at the floor and it's wet. And I'm like, oh my God, I think you found it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did Phil pee in the house? He never pees in the house. Like he's so good. He's never peed in the house.
And then we have a dog that's really afraid of storms. So I was like, oh, maybe Louis peed because of the storm.
Yeah, and he's getting older and whatever. And so we're like, okay, Louis must have peed. So we put Phil out. We feed the animals. Louis is the only one in the house. We go out and do chores. We come back inside.
And I'm like, he peed in the exact same spot? What the fuck is going on? And as I'm cleaning up the pee for the second time, I get dripped on from above.
Yeah. Well, I have PTSD from water coming out of light fixtures and ceilings from my Hurricane Katrina experience. So I was like, what the F? And sadly, here we are again. And actually, I'm waiting on this home warranty company to get back to me. So I'm going to have to reach out to them tomorrow. That air conditioning unit that was installed was done incorrectly from the get-go. And I fought with them on that. We've already had another problem with it. And now it leaked water into our house. And I will say 2 things about this. One, it's really sad that you get work done, you pay people money for it and all these things, and it's just done not well. And these things happen. And 2, I had this wonderful conversation with the guy that actually came out to take care of it and fix it. We were just talking about how you do work in life, and how you do work for people. And if you're raised a certain way, you do it right. And you stand behind what you do and you make sure that you are true to what you say you can do and like honest about it. And it's just sad that the world isn't full of that in those types of people. And I'm thankful that the person that came out to fix it, was someone that was nice and that cared, but it's just shitty that our ceiling now has to get fixed. And thankfully, because you should find gratitude in all things, the ceiling didn't fall in. It could have been a ton worse. It's good that we came home when we did, because that could have been a real big problem. So we're very lucky that it's not as big as it could have been.
Homeowning's a bitch.
Well, you know what? A lot of things in life, if
But
it's
when you rent, it's like you just call the front desk and you're like, hey, this shit's broken, and they come fix it. It's not your problem. So my advice for everyone out there, don't buy a house, because it's never ending work. It's never ending heartache. And on that note.
No, before he says on that note, I'm not sure this is a podcast where people should be taking your advice, but sometimes the greatest things in life are hard to come by, and it takes a lot of effort and work. And owning a house is actually a really important thing that people should do, because it builds equity in their life and it's worth it. So on that note,
I'll see you next Tuesday.